And still to come, stay with us. We'll be talking more about other statewide races on the Tuesday ballot. Lieutenant Governor, for example, State Treasurer and Secretary of State primaries in both parties, and a Republican primary for Attorney General. Armand Rahman looks at the GOP challengers hoping to face off against incumbent Attorney General Josh Kaul.
And people don't pay enough attention to this position.
Former State Representative Adam Jarko is running against Fond du Lac District Attorney Eric Toney and conservative lawyer Karen Mueller for a chance to beat current Democratic Attorney General Josh Kaul in November. Experts say a party switch in this seat could bring a power shift we haven't seen since the early 2000s.
And if you had a Republican Attorney General and a Republican Governor and a Republican legislature, I think you would see, a lot of new policies and new takes on issues.
Issues including public safety. According to the DOJ, crimes like homicide and car theft have gone up in the state in the past 3 years. Toney says that means the state's top cop should have experience prosecuting those crimes.
And I'm the only Republican candidate in our race for Attorney General that has ever prosecuted a case and used the resources of our Department of Justice.
Jarko is calling for more law enforcement spending.
We've put out a plan called our Make Wisconsin Safe Again plan, and it calls for fully funding our brave men and women in law enforcement because we have a crisis of morale, recruitment, and retention all across Wisconsin in law enforcement.
The next Attorney General will also be responsible for running the state's crime lab, which saw significant delays with DNA analysis in 2021. In a report, Attorney General Josh Kaul credited those delays in large part to short-term impacts of the pandemic.
The reality is Josh Kaul is taking in thousands of less items at our crime lab. He's testing thousands of less items, and he's taking longer to do it in most categories, including DNA. And that's a failure on his part during this period of historic violence and drugs.
But one of the state's most critical issues at hand for the AG's race is one law Josh Kaul specifically says he will choose not to enforce. Wisconsin's abortion ban from the 19th century, triggered by the U.S. Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade.
He's picking and choosing when he wants to enforce the rule of law. Now, I happen to be pro-life, endorsed by Wisconsin Right to Life as well as Wisconsin Family Action, but I made a commitment when I ran for DA that I would enforce the rule of law.
The job of the Attorney General is not a policy-making job. If you want to make policy, run for the state legislature. So if the legislature decides to make some changes to the 1849 law, then that is the law that we would uphold and defend.
Just some of the many issues on the Attorney General's plate waiting in November. In Madison, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.